Thanks for staying with us. It's time for us to now look at the games this weekend for Division 3 and Division 2. And it's a really big week this weekend in Division 3. Two games which have a massive impact on how we view the rest of the year, I guess. And probably one which we expect will be one-sided. That's the first one we'll look at. It's Parkside versus Watsonia. Parkside now lost 2 in a row. They've gone through the first 13 weeks with just the one loss next to their name. Lost 2 in a row, of course, to South Morang and also on the weekend to St Mary's. And that was, in the end, a surprise result. I think we always thought it would be a close game, but in the end, Parkside defeated by 5 goals. I think going into the game, I was leaning towards the Devils actually win the game. Both sides probably not at full strength. I guess Parkside caused 2 key injuries, but at the same time, St Mary's had some players out. So the result just didn't go their way. They were actually, scores were pretty close at three-quarter time, less than a kick in it, and in the last quarter, Parkside failed to register a score to St Mary's 4-5. So in the end, St Mary's running a good winners there, but you think against Watsonia this week, the Devils will get back on the winning list, and they really have to, because they've got second spot on the line to lose if they don't win this weekend, and also win well.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, as you said, winning well will be a massive thing for Perth. No disrespect to Watsonia, but the percentage will be what Parkside will really need going into the finals. They want to have that second spot. You think first is probably South Morang to lose at the moment anyway, and Parkside, St Mary's, and even Pant Hill will be fighting out for that second and third spot. So percentage could be very important when it comes to the final position. So Parkside are looking for a big win against Watsonia.
St Mary's takes on Reservoir in just an absolute massive game of Division 3 football. It's third versus fourth at the moment, and St Mary's, I reckon, pulling off the best win they've had while they've been up in senior competition over the past 2 years. A great win, and I guess backs to the wall. Apparently 8 key players out for the game. The coach wasn't there, of course. Phil Katnazi taking over for the second week in a row with Kim Irvine away sick, and at three-quarter time he brought the charges in. He said it was just, he implored them, they needed one more quarter and they could get over Parkside. His players responded in exactly how you want them to. 4 goals, 5-0. It's a young list at an average age of only about 21 years old, so they're doing everything right. And now with that win, you have to say they're a genuine chance to get promoted next year, and they've proven they can beat these good sides. They've beaten South Morang, they've beaten Parkside. They've also run a close loser, I guess, against South Morang just a couple of weeks ago. So they've proven they can match it with these best sides. They beat Reservoir last time around. In that game as well, oddly enough, they also kept Reservoir scoreless in the last quarter there. So it's 2 times they've done it this year where they kicked 4 or 5 goals in the final term, kept the opposition scoreless. And as good as Reservoir's probably been over the last 3 weeks, having the better finding some better form, I think St Mary's going to win this one.
Yeah, and amazing. St Mary's had double the scoring shots for Parkside last week, which is massive. And obviously, going by that, they should have won by a little bit more even in the end. But it was a great win for St Mary's, and they're probably one of the best stories in the entire league. Obviously, they're only their second year, and they're really, as you said, firming to be one of the definitely maybe not outright favourites. Obviously, South Morang again still probably have that, but they're not far behind, so they'll be really a team to be reckoned with in the finals.
Reservoir getting a big win last week, and it was a good win. It was against Watsonia, and they would have expected a good margin. Won by 80 points in the end, but for them it's a good win. Of course, first time around against Watsonia they struggled, just a 5-point win, and for St Mary's, as you mentioned the inaccuracy, I spoke to Phil during the week. He reckons there's probably about maybe 6 to 7 shots they probably should have kicked, set shots at gettable distance, and they missed it. He felt that had they kicked straight, they probably would have had the game sewn up earlier than the final quarter. But the third game in Division 3 is the one that is a massive round. It's the NFL match of the day. It's South Morang taking on, of course, Pant Hill. For the time being, of course, we're having a few technical difficulties down there which we're trying to sort out, but hopefully we're there on Saturday, because it's going to be a great game. Of course, South Morang going for a dozen wins on the trot, and Pant Hill, of course, having a bye last weekend, a massive win the week before against St Mary's with Jonathan Byron's first game in charge, and they just need to win, first of all, to make that top 4, but I think they feel if they can make it, they can have a big impact on how the season turns out. But South Morang at home, they only won 2 games last year, and as I was saying off air, the teams that were last and second last last year are now first and third, and 2 form sides of the comp, so a huge turnaround. I've been down there during the week, had a chat to Daniel Heatley, their skipper, also to their coach Gary Klinikos, and they've just said the culture in the club has changed a lot since then. Of course, they've been able to recruit a few big names, because Shane Whitnell and Troy Jeanette has come back to the club after winning a premiership at Whittlesea. And at the moment, as you mentioned, it's probably first spot is definitely theirs, just to lose now. But you think they're at the moment anyway the firm favourites for that premiership, and 3 games clear on top of the ladder.
Yeah, and they just keep going about the business. So it's just doing what they have to do every week, which I know is a massive cliche. They they don't have massive ups or downs or anything. They're just really pretty much just consistent from week in to week out, which is obviously a great sign going into the finals. And yeah, when you've got Whitnell can just bob up again and kick 4 goals down the forward line, is a massive target to have in the forward 50. And then yeah, they've got some great run off half back into the middle of the ground. So they're definitely one of the deservedly favourites, and they probably should get over Penn Hill. They're still struggling a little bit with their injuries. They're starting to get a few players back, but they must have broken a mirror or something at the start of the year. Penn Hill, they've been pretty unlucky, but gee, they should be pretty close to South Morang. It'll be a lot closer than I think a few people are sort of suggesting, but you'd think that South Morang will still get it in the end.
Well, as I said, internally they still think they're a massive showing for the rest of this year, but I guess they think at South Morang still have been able to change, as I said, that culture, just getting a winning mentality. They did it a couple of weeks ago against Reservoir where they were down in the dying stage, probably 7 minutes to go, down by 4 goals, got the win, and they've been able to bring these players with probably premiership experiences as well. Shane Whitnell won a premiership with the Bundoora Reserves a couple of years back, and Troy Jeanette, of course, with Whittlesey in the seniors last year. Probably a player who could be playing in Division 1, really, Troy Jeanette, one of Whittlesey's better players last year, is gone back now to South Morang, a real chance to get another one in second year row, but just that winning culture, I guess, is starting to be established. So they're on a run at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if they can get win number 12 on the weekend. Division 2 sees another really big game for two sides, and those sides being Lalor and Diamond Creek. Lalor was in the end heavily defeated by Lower Plenty last weekend. It was a big rematch, of course, first time around. We all know what happened with Lalor getting a big win, but roles reversed this time around. Lalor actually started the better of the sides on the weekend, missed a few chances in front of goal, and then Lower Plenty was able to kick a few in a row there in the first quarter. I think it might have been 6 in the trot, and went to quarter time for 14-point win lead rather, and from there just kept extending that margin. But Lalor, it's a proud club that they're not going to want to. They want to probably forget that as quickly as possible, move on. They get a chance against Lower next week as well, but for now all eyes are on this week against Diamond Creek. Of course, the Demons still yet to be decided inside the top 4. A big win last weekend. They've still got some injury doubts, and you would think at this stage that Lalor will get the win in that one there, and probably just hold on to that second spot, because everything is really breathing down their neck now.
Yeah, it's a massive game for both of us. Lalor trying to hold on to their spot in the top 2, and I don't think they've been outside the top 2 ever since the start of the year. And as you said with Diamond Creek, they've, for all their improvements, and they're just sort of really taking care of the sides below them on the ladder. We say it every week, they still haven't beaten one of the sides above them. So, and gee, time's running out before the end of the season. So I think I've only got about 4 or 5 weeks left to try to knock one of those sides off. So they really want to get one done before they go into finals, and they will have a good shot against Lalor this week. But I think Lalor will probably still be too strong when you've got Shepherd who can kick 10 goals a game and things down there. It makes them pretty tough to stop.
Well, Epping is in third place at the moment now, equal points with Lalor. Of course, dropped a few early on and went a few games behind, but they are pushing, as I said, breathing right down Lalor's neck at the moment. They have a game this weekend which they really should expect to win, and they're going to have to win well, because they need to boost that percentage. They are to catch up with Lalor should the points stay the same at the moment. But Hurstbridge put in a better showing last weekend against Diamond Creek. Having a look at the scorecard, there's 5 goals out at 3/4 time. They have been on the receiving end of a few blowouts throughout the season, so they've turned that form around probably in the last couple of weeks, in particular on the week, and they should show that they can still match it. In the end, it turned out to be, I think it was a 10-goal loss, but they were able to stay competitive for the first 3 quarters. In the end, Brent Gunnison got them by the scruff of the neck and booted 8, but have put in some improved showing, with Epping just not slowing down at all. Winners by 9 goals on the weekend, and as we say every week, the usual suspects got amongst the goals was Moore and Totino kicking 3 each, and just again playing some fantastic footy. Totino's a small, I'd say a speedy midfielder, half forward. He's actually in the top 10 in the goal kicking table with 31 for the year, so he's almost an X factor you have down there. And you put him in with the likes of Jared King, who played another good game. Aaron Willis gets best on ground, only kicks 1 goal for the game, so they've got a wide spread of goal kickers, and you think they'll beat Hurstbridge this weekend with that spread?
Yeah, they actually had 12 goal kickers last week, I think 12 or 13, so yeah, when you've got that sort of spread, when you still do have your big targets like Moore and Willis who can kick their bags, then you've got everyone else who can chip in as well, and they're just, outside of Lower Plenty, they've probably been the best side over the last 2 months in Division 2 as well, or have sort of fallen off a little bit, and it's a massive game for percentage, and things that you'd think they'll definitely be up there in contention come the end of the finals.
And Mernda takes on Thomastown in the next game, and two sides down the bottom of the ladder, still last and second last, but improving as the season goes on. Thomastown had put in a good showing a couple of months back when they had that run of 3 wins in a month. But on the weekend, in the end, a 9-goal loss, which they won't be happy with. But they say with Epping, because at half time it looked like it could be a blowout. There was a strong breeze blowing, and Epping used that to advantage in the second quarter, and it was 6 goals to 2. Looked like they're going to run away with a 9-goal lead at half time, but Thomastown able to stay with the Blues in the second half and ensure that they left with respect intact, and it was a good effort. And I think this weekend against Mernda, they'll get their 4th win and probably move into 6th place on the Division 2 ladder.
Yeah, but Mernda against Fitzroy might have been sort of ruining some missed chances. At the quarter time, it was 3 goals won for Fitzroy to 1-6 Mernda, so maybe if they would have kicked a few more goals, they could have put a bit more pressure on the Stars in that first quarter, but obviously it wasn't to be, and yeah, you'd think that Thomastown should probably get the win against Mernda, and that would almost all but confirm Mernda will be Divi 3 next year.
And Lower Plenty and Fitzroy Stars, the last game on the agenda for this round, and Lower Plenty just on the weekend, probably their best win I'd say of the year, the most important win I guess for them as they go towards finals. It was big for them to probably get that monkey off the back after being so disappointing as Layla the first time around. And their better players, the ones who played well, probably the ones who struggled last time. Darcy Barton kicked 6. Nick Tye was on Peter Shepherd and kept him to 3 goals, which I'm sure they'll be really happy with, because of course Shepherd got away last time around. Clint Monger, a multiple best and fairest at the club, starting to find some really good form. He's been in the best 3 consecutive weeks. From I guess the wing half forward, kicks 5 goals. So they're good players, are playing some good footy, and a massive win, probably a confidence boosting win if their confidence can get any higher. But Fitzroy Stars, second win in a row rather. Moved to 5 wins for the season. We saw them a couple of weeks ago against Epping, and they started a terrible first quarter, trailed by 6 goals, and from there weren't really blown away. Were able to really hold Epping in the final 3 quarters and showed something. So they would give themselves some chance, a sneaky chance going into this weekend. But after Lower's win last weekend, it's really hard to go past the first place side.
Yeah, especially the way Lower are just smashing it. I think the closest anyone's got to them besides that Labour game, I think Epping got to, it was 17-18 points a few weeks ago. So other than that, they've been just dominating all season. So yeah, Fitzroy are improving. They're very sort of up and down this year, and you think that if they have a down day, it could get a bit ugly. And even if they're on form, they'll struggle against Lower.
Well, they're another side, I guess, like Diamond Creek, who haven't beaten the side above them on the ladder just yet. So they'll be looking to do that the weekend. They might struggle, but it should be a really good game. So make sure you do get around to some of the local grounds on the weekend. As we mentioned in the previous video, only 2 games in Division 1 for the round, a full fixture in Division 2 and 3. So make sure you get down to the local ground on Saturday. We look forward to seeing you there, and we'll see you again next Thursday night for another edition of NFL TV. Thanks for your time.